I'm going to tell you this. They're right when they said that inspiration can come from the oddest of places. When it comes to that, well, I would like to thank the pork barrels fiasco that is happening in the Philippines for actually giving me some light when it comes to modern day feminism and how it actually runs like a Ponzi scheme. And if you haven't heard of the word Ponzi scheme, well, if you have heard of the word pyramid scheme, well, it works in the same framework as the Ponzi scheme. But if you want the real definition of Ponzi scheme, well, it's on the description box. With that being said, modern feminism, as I said, works like a Ponzi scheme because, in the sense that you have these representatives like Anita Sarkeesian, Rebecca Watson, Medley Hensley, Samantha Allen, Lee Alexander, Patricia Hernandez, who are the others? Sui Park. That are they are like your confidence man. Because in order for a Ponzi scheme to work, you need like Carlo Ponzi, the man that you know made this story, the man that was infamous for the term Ponzi scheme, that started a, you need to have that, that confidence, flowery words, you're going, you need those words, you need those vocabularies in order for you to attract people. Because when you speak like that, you're going to actually, your people are going to have an impression to you that you're intelligent. That's one of the basic investments of a confidence man in a Ponzi scheme. Well, in this case, these women, in these feminists that I've mentioned, are just uses their flowery words, their really wide variety of vocabularies to entice people to say to have that impression that they're smart. And with that, by getting their attention, it's going to be in another stage, the second stage, which is actually putting your trust in a Ponzi scheme. If a confidence man told you that, hey, since that you trust me, you already trust me, you you have to invest to me. But in this case of modern feminism, you are going to invest. It's either your morality, and of course, with morality, if in this case, of course, Kickstarters and other things like donations for this drive of whatever foundation for women, etc. You're going to invest on that financially because the thing that a confidence man or a con man or a con artist, if you may, will make you like you have to buy to my ideology. Well, in this case, modern feminism is advocating equality through smashing on the so-called smoke and mirrors called the patriarchy. Anita Sarkeesian, so-called exposing sexism in video games. Rebecca Watson, exposing the boys' club in atheism. Sui Park, uh, exposing racism and sexism in team sports, etc. Melody Hensley, all of those, they work in the same framework. They're going to sell their ideologies to you, and you're going to invest to it because you are being captured. You're captivated by their flowery words. The way that you're going to talk to you, in a matter that you're going to have an expression that they are like the cream of the crop of academia. It makes sense because throughout the history of people being fell into the trap of Ponzi schemes, most of the people like Bernie Madoff have the same charisma. You know that Bernie Madoff have been like one of the so-called greatest investors, one of the greatest business minds in American history before he was exposed when the crash happened in 2008. Correct me if I'm wrong with that. And that is one of the main factors on why they're succeeding. They're going to sell their ideology to you, and you're going to put your trust in them, because this is what This is the saying, the main saying when it comes to Ponzi schemes. It sounds so wrong but it's too good to be true, and yet it's too good to be passed on. Because let's face it, someone is fighting for equality, someone is exposing sexism in any medium. It's too good to be true that there's someone that is actually exposing these kinds of kinds of flaws. And at the same time, it's too good to pass on because you want to be a part into that fight. It's understandable. It's part of our human, it's part of our anatomy. It's engraved within our genes. It cannot be removed forever unless you can modify it. But in a Ponzi scheme, that is one of the things that people really forget, and they really just ignore that because in this case, the modern day feminism is actually fighting for equality. They're fighting for you, the artist, the confidence artists are fighting for equality in behalf of you. And that is one of the investments that you're putting on your trust, also your money, but most importantly, your trust. But here's the thing, in every Ponzi scheme, it has its limits. When Bernie Madoff was actually, lavishing on more and more money on Ponzi schemes, guess what happened? One person, in the name of Harry Markopoulos, one person exposed him for his frauds. I mean, for the so-called blue chip investments on Boeing, on other American Express, and other blue chip stocks. Well, in this case of modern feminism, people are keep exposing their flaws left and right about their arguments and etc. But but one of the factors on why they haven't been wrecked yet, it's because people, as much as people sees that there's something really wrong about these people that they support, they cannot just back down because, like they said before, they already put all of their trust to this confidence artist. And that confidence, that trust when it's broken, like the victims of the Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme, it's like, it's heartbreaking. You know that it's a fraud. You already know that it is, but you already invested, and you're giving yourself false hope. False hope in hoping that this is not true. We're fighting for equality. We're fighting for sexism. We want to make these things right. So therefore, I'm going to stick to it. You get it? In every Ponzi scheme, in every pyramid scheme, that is one of the hindering factors on why people are still just investing in it, despite that they already see the shit that already hit the wall. That's what it is. The bubbles of this modern day feminists like Gail Dines, Naomi Wolf, Anita Sarkeesian, Rebecca Watson, Sue Park, Medley Hensley, Susan Wilson, Samantha Allen, Leigh Alexander. They've already been exposed. The bubble have already been popped, and many people have heard it, but they just don't want to recognize it. I'm not going to repeat myself, but it happened. It happened to people. That is why when you see victims of Ponzi schemes, they just break down and cry. Why? Because they know that it's already a fraud. They just want to convince themselves. They just want to condition themselves that they've done the right thing. And in this case of modern feminism, it is the same. Call me crazy, but it is what it is. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme not on financial terms, but on morality terms. It's already been here. The bubble has already been popped. And the thing is, these white knights of each feminist that I've mentioned haven't, they don't want to recognize that because they already invested on it big time. You get what I'm saying? Good. But if you are curious on how Ponzi scheme works, I'm going to link on the description box as well. Of course, it's going to be like in the Wikipedia. So anyway, I am Homer, and you know what? I never thought that studying bits and bits of business actually is going, actually makes me understand things more, business wise. See you later.